I've gotten sick at certain places and just kept going though.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'll have to get sick like 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Chipotle had like an E. coli thing several years ago.
No, I
stop me from going.
Yeah, I used to get I've gotten it from Chipotle before. It's always the lettuce. Like I'm just like I don't really care about lettuce that much. Like I'll just not have it on stuff.
It has such a good texture though.
Yeah, it does, but I'm also like I'm okay without it to the point where if it's gonna get me sick, like I'll just put more pico in it or whatever.
Glazed Eyes is an alt-rock, emo, and power pop inspired band from Pensacola, Florida, but you could have read that in their bio. What you probably don't already know is that the band is releasing their debut album entitled Holding Out on a Dream this Friday, or if you're listening to this later, December 1st, 2023. And speaking of holding out on a dream, this one's been in the works for them for the better part of 4 years. I was fortunate enough to sit down in person with frontmen. Yes, frontmen, plural, you heard that right. Actually, where are my manners? Allow me to allow them to introduce themselves.
I'm CJ Castillo.
CJ plays guitar and sings for Glazed Eyes.
And I'm Robert Goodspeed.
Robert, get this, plays guitar and sings. He also manages the famed local venue, the Handlebar. But enough from me. Let's hear from them.
Lately I've been falling apart. There's no reason why. I'm never gonna find the words to let you know I tried.
As I understand it, you've all been playing together or alongside one another for a long time, many years, and sort of formed up as a band around 2019. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think that's right about when it started, yeah.
Okay.
Has it been that long?
I guess so,
Wow.
Yeah.
I love a good origin story, so if you wouldn't mind, how did it all begin?
So me and CJ have been playing together for like a lot longer than that, and me and Taylor have been as well, and me and Mac have been as well. So in a weird way, like I've played with each of the members in the band, but in different projects. And so the band that me and CJ played with was called Palafox, which was like an 80s hair metal band, and we were both like very into like guitar shreddy shit. Nice. And that's how we started that band. What was that, maybe 2012?
Yeah,
something like that.
Probably. I just moved back. And
he had just moved back from Gainesville.
Yeah.
And so we'd been playing with that for a really long time, and so we had a lot of chemistry there, even to the point where like some of the first times that we ever like jammed together, it was just like we could like read each other's mind immediately. Yeah. So like there was like a time where him and the drummer were playing a song, and I just kind of like jumped in and like knew exactly what the chord progressions were supposed to be, and he goes, "That's crazy." He's just like, "That's crazy." You just like thought it was that
song structure. You kind of just flow through with it.
And so we had been playing for a while, and CJ was in another band with the drummer Mac called Capsule Hotel, which was like a super chunk power pop
Dinosaur Jr.
type band, and
Fuzz Rock.
Fuzz Rock, that's right, that's a really good way to put it. So they were playing for a while, and at the same time that me and Taylor were playing in a band called 10th Inning. It was like an Atari's punk style band, and me and Mac were in various hardcore bands for a while, and just had the idea like to try something different. Like all of us love like this era of like the 90s, like alternative, Jim Blossoms, Matchbox 20, like all sorts of stuff like that. But
college rock, radio rock.
But then like mixed in with like a little bit of Knapsack, Taking Back Sunday, and then even just like more modern stuff like I don't know, like Jimmy Eat World, Moose Blood, stuff like that. Like so like a brainchild of that was kind of like forming, and simultaneously CJ's band Capsule Hotel was kind of disbanding due to members moving,
Moved away.
and kind of reached out and we're just like, hey, what do you think about like doing this, like knowing that we all like that kind of music, and we were kind of on the back burner with Palafox for a little bit. So that's how that pretty much got started, was just wanting to kind of bring together all the different kind of like really good musicians that I've had chemistry with over the years, and kind of form something that like maybe is a little bit more up our alley as terms of like what we listen to on a regular basis. I think that covers it, right? Anything
Well,
else
what's
you think?
interesting is like one. I don't know if it was the last Capsule Hotel show, but it was a Capsule Hotel show. And after we had played, Rob just like texted me. He's like, "Hey, I got these tracks. Like, see what you can do with them." And I wrote the lyrics and melodies for him like that night, and they became like two of our first songs, just like immediately. So it's
Awesome.
pretty cool. Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we recorded just the instruments because we were kind of demoing singers, right?
Yeah.
And, we had this one guy that we were thinking about, and it just felt like there wasn't really a lot of urgency in terms of, like, him wanting to, like, write stuff for it. And then
He had a great voice, but he just, like, couldn't commit.
Yeah, and then I send it, to him, and then like within the day, he's just like, "All right, here, I already have this." I'm like, "Well, let's get in the fucking studio. Like, let's make it happen." And like, I think, like immediately we just like went in and recorded over it, and we're like, "This is the band. This is great. We like this direction like a lot, and we're stoked about it."
Cool. So was there anything stopping you initially from just saying like, we're gonna trade off like vocal duties or whatever? You like wanted to get a vocalist in there first, or
I think just naturally I didn't gravitate towards asking CJ because he was already in the other band.
Okay.
And so like I just like there was some level of that, but also like
And
it
I was
a
singing in that
project.
other band, so it's like singing duty for multiple bands can get kind of hectic.
Yeah, it's like, what do you only can write about, the same thing in so many different ways, I guess, unless like one band's maybe more of a happy band and another one's more of a sad band.
Sure.
But I feel like if you are writing happy and sad lyrics, one of them is going to be very good and the other one's not going to be, just by nature.
honestly, I would say the only people that I know that do equal work for like two bands plus, they're very different.
Yeah, it has to be. And
According to your bio, you guys kind of bonded over a shared love of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You already kind of listed off some bands. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of that is music based, but is there any other sort of 90s like nostalgia that really appeals to you that you bond over?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think one of the songs we like reference Boy Meets World, and like a lot of our designs are like meant to be in our music videos, like really tailored to like kind of look VHS like, and just bring you back to some of those early moments of like when you're first discovering feelings about whether it's movies or TV shows or music or anything like that.
All right. Yeah, you just kind of rattled off with a bunch of 90s bands. Are there any of those that you would say you're more directly influenced by than others? Or is it just sort of like there's the appeal of the music and
Definitely Goo Goo Dolls.
separate?
Yeah.
Third Eye Blind, like just straight up.
Sweet.
There's the main bands,
Yeah.
Jim Blossoms, like you said.
Yeah.
So.
Um,
But we want to have more like a modern kick to it. I want people to know that we listen to those bands, but maybe we're not trying to just emulate it. It's like the same
agreed.
thing regurgitated, so.
Right, yeah, like there's like a couple songs, if you listen to them, you can probably say like, oh, this sounds like you dropped in one of these bands to like play the background music for us. And then there's other ones where you're like, oh, this is their sound and this is like what they're going for as opposed to that. But I
want us to remind people of it, but not be just like, well, I'm just gonna go listen to that.
Yeah, I'll just go listen to that instead. Exactly. Yeah.
I was telling Robert I saw you guys open for Strange Ranger in like September or whatever.
Yeah.
I did take notes for that show because I was going to do some kind of a write-up or something, and I completely lost. I don't know what happened to them. Which is too bad. But anyway, I specifically remember saying that one of the songs in particular, I don't remember which one it was, gave me like very heavy Gin Blossoms vibes, and I have that like down here, and so I'm glad you guys mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge one for both of us and all of us, really. It's just like a really underrated band that, there's some ones that kind of broke into the limelight, obviously, but them, they're really popular. I mean, they have several songs on the radio, but I feel like there's not a lot of recognition. There's probably only a handful of people where the song comes on and you're like, oh, I know who that is. But other people are like, I know the song, but I couldn't tell you who it is.
We're on
you know?
so many soundtracks.
Yeah.
I feel like that, some
really
bands
were.
that just dominated, but like still are low key.
Yeah.
You know?
What is it? Like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Yeah, there's like a very like great scene with that. And I'm like, okay, this is...
He picks up the plant for her.
Yeah.
Rides off on the moped. I remember that.
Yeah, the moped part. That's right.
Moped
And he's
part.
like yelling at her from it, right?
Andy!
Ben,
Pull over, we need to talk!
are you trying to get yourself killed?
That's what it takes, yeah, now pull over the cab!
Sir, excuse me, sir, can you please pull the car over?
We're in the middle of a bridge, lady, I can't pull the car over here.
Okay, well then do you have an ashtray or something I can throw up in?
Hey, lady.
Cool. So what does the songwriting process typically look like for you guys? I know we've sort of talked around that, but
Rob pretty much will just be like, hey, I got this riff. That's every band I've been in with Rob, actually. He
Really?
just like will have a ton of riffs ready, and then either I'll, in other bands where I was just playing guitar, I would add a melody to it, but with this, it's mostly Rob just has like song structure and riffs together, and then I'll just play through them. Like we send each other notes, like just voice messages.
Yeah.
And then if I'm going through something at that moment, I'll just try to like stream of consciousness, write down what I'm feeling, and then sort it out later. Cool.
There's like a lot of times where like what he says, like I'll probably start a song idea and then we kind of like work through it, but then there's other times where like I think CJ kind of is like lightning in a bottle, and I like really try to capture on that sometimes, where I'm like, oh, we're rolling here. It's like we were on this other idea, but we're kind of going through this now, so I'm like, we're gonna table this and just go through this, because like we're gonna be able to figure this out. And there's been like so many times where like the intention at practice may have been to do something else, and then we were like kind of in this other direction. We're like, let's try it this way. And like, there's been like some voice note demos that we have, and we'll be like kind of playing through them, and I'm like, well, what if we did it like this and made it a little faster, and like maybe even change the key of it so that it like fits your voice better. And so there's been several songs like that we've kind of gotten through, and we don't necessarily maybe finish it in the time that we're practicing, but like after kind of sitting on it for a little bit, I'm like, oh, this would be like the perfect place for a bridge to do something like this, or maybe the chorus is better this way, or maybe we should start with like that's kind of how the songwriting goes. It's always just like you have an idea, you let it snowball, or if you get sidetracked, go to the thing that's working and just kind of keep pushing through that.
You're good at spotting those.
Yeah, and then lyrically, like I don't really have that's all CJ. Like mine's like just kind of I'm there for influence, or to kind of screen, like if he's like, what do you think of this? I'm like, all right, well, I see what you're trying to say. Like maybe the next verse, let's maybe tie it back in or whatever. That's kind of how that goes.
Do you find that you guys ever end up recycling ideas that you've sort of tabled and thought to come back to them? Or
I think
do you
so.
just kinda,
Like riff wise and lyrics, like there'll be stuff, I'll look through my notes and they'll be like 2018.
Yeah.
Like 2017. I was like, well, I still feel that way, but maybe I don't want to say it that way.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I have to rehash things over and over until it just fits the song nowadays.
Yeah, there's a couple songs where like before CJ joined, I was just like jamming with Matt, and I had like all the different kind of songs listed out on my phone, and I went back and I'm like, it's funny because like this is the first song that we like jammed, but like as a band we probably didn't actually like record or like finish until like way later, like almost 3 or 4 years later. It's just again just riding the hot hand, and just there's some songs that just caught, and then there's some that were like, all right, well, I did have this idea, so like let's see if we can turn this into something. And there's so many where I listen to them and I'm like, oh, this is that song, but we play it like a little faster now and maybe more clean, or maybe more dancey or something like that. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, and I noticed there are at least 2 songs on this album coming up that have been completely finished since 2019. That was Take My Hand and See You There, which were on your first promo.
yeah.
So are there any others? I mean, we've kind of already covered this, but there's quite a few that have been sitting for a while. Is that also safe to say?
Yeah, I think the album is 12 songs, which is technically 11 because one of them is an intro.
Okay.
2 of those are the 2 promo songs
promos
that are re-recorded, and then a little
we have out right now,
little bit of different spin on and everything,
and then 5 that no one's heard.
Yeah.
So.
How far back would you say it goes?
I'd say probably 2018 at the earliest, right?
Okay.
And then even some of those ideas, like you said, like maybe lyrically, you're like, oh, I wrote this like line like forever ago, and this is the hook that I wanted to keep with,
Yeah, because like you said, we put those first 2 promo things 2019, and we recorded them in a different tuning.
Everything that's felt alright. I wish I could have met you twice. I'll find a way to make it up somehow. And after all this time I've spent, still don't know just what it meant. But when I close my eyes, I see you there.
All right, yeah. So we were putting this album out through Sunday Drive Records, which is good news. I've heard really good things about them. How did that come about?
Just like an endless pursuit, like just not giving up, I guess. I hit it, we basically...
How many submissions would you say you sent?
I probably sent him every time we put out a single, and then I sent probably even like the prior promo, just being like, hey, like we're doing this at some point, and then when like we kind of like got all the finals out, like I sent that to him, and then every time we dropped a single, I was just like, hey, just so you know, like here we are. It's like, I'll make this very easy. Just click the link and press play, as opposed to like digging through like a Dropbox link or like whatever. Yeah, I mean a handful of submissions there, but it's great. I mean, I think that a lot of the bands on there are really cool, and I think that we kind of stand out in our own way in terms of how we're a little bit different. Like, I think his label is like a lot of it's
like hardcore.
Yeah, it's like hard
indie bands.
It's like hardcore bands with like side projects, and like that's what the vibe is. And so it kind of fits in a way, but. Also, yeah, I'd say that, for the most part, it's kind of like this is like our own thing, not necessarily like a members of type
and that was
situation.
like something that like stood out to me whenever I asked Jonathan at Sunday Drive. I was like, we kind of stand out. It's not a bad thing, but we're really chasing that 90s sound.
Yeah.
And then he, compared to these other bands, and he was like, I think any band on this roster would cite Gin Blossoms or Goo Goo Dolls or Third Eye Blind as an influence, which I think you guys are kind of nailing. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah.
Nice.
So then was Sunday Drive, like that was your choice, or were you thinking about other people you were trying to submit to?
That actually was like one of our really strong choices.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you'd want like, I don't know, Def Jam or Sony, right? Like, but like at the same time, like you have to be realistic, that feels like the right, type of label. He's doing a lot of like really good things in terms of like his branding and his promo and how he like kind
cares
of
about his
develops the roster, right? And I think that that's really cool, and I think that again just ties kind of back into like the hardcore adjacent type thing that I think we fit in. So
yeah. It sounds like you showed some real initiative in sort of reaching out and being very persistent.
Yeah.
I know that you and I had a conversation, I think it was the Built to Spill show, we were talking about like the importance of just being persistent and almost to the point of like being annoying to people when you're trying to get something out of them. Would you guys want to speak on the importance of that in the music industry, just how saturated it is?
It's crazy. You have to be at the top of someone's inbox. There's like no other way around it. There's so many submissions, there's so many, and it's hard. Like, I mean, even like with the Handlebar, it's like, I'll get some submissions and I'll listen to it like immediately and be like, this is so sick. And then there's some where I might not see it until like, a month or two after they sent it. And I'm like, dang, I really wish I had seen this then. And it just is like sometimes just it, happening to like find it at the right time. And so by being persistent and being at the top, like that's like your only real chance to like separate yourself from the rest of everything,
Yeah. I think when I like first started doing this, I was always very wary of being like annoying, you know, like turning people off because I was, you know, talking to them too much. So far, I haven't honestly found that to be an issue. I don't know if you guys have.
It's hard. Like, you just have to be able to turn it off, like you're like however you feel about it, and just say like, I don't care that I'm being annoying. Honestly, like I just like you know, until you acknowledge that you've seen this, I'm gonna pretend you didn't see it, and I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all. That's what how I feel about it.
It's not about like the person who has like the most talent. You know, it's like the person who's most persistent.
Yeah.
And you might be annoying initially, but you might break through on someone that takes a chance on you.
Sure. Yeah. And then you've mentioned sort of other bands that you guys kind of work with. Is this to you guys is the main thing?
Yeah,
I would say so.
Yeah, for sure. It's the one that I think we've probably invested the most time in terms of just getting this album out and making it like, I mean, we've spent like so much time like thinking about like how we want to like release it and what order we want the songs in, who we wanted to record it, and then who we wanted to do extra stuff. Like, we just wanted to have like as many hands in it as possible to kind of shape it into like, you know, there's just so much that you can do as one person. If you are the designer and the writer and the booker and all this other stuff, it's just like you're gonna like only kind of see things one way.
Yeah.
And so by having so many different, you know, perspectives and touches on it, I think that's how we were able to kind of get the most out of it. Because I think it's really easy to just, I guess in terms of like a songwriter, and just say like, this is the best that I can possibly do. But then when you have like another producer, or like any other people involved with it, other band members or anything, that's how you can kind of really take like your vision and just expand it and make it like way cooler.
They become like extra members of the band, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you have a really good producer, someone that can pull that out of you and just bring ideas out that they know you're capable of, but maybe you're too close to the project. Like, they can see it because they're not, you know, as close. They can take a step back.
So then, I guess why now? Because you've had these songs for a while. I'm guessing, obviously, wanting like a concrete label to release it was a big part of it. But I think I was reading that at one point, at least, you guys had the intention of putting out the album in the summer.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously things, you know, they get pushed back.
Album rollout,
things like that.
Yeah.
So like, there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah. Well, let's walk that back. So 19, that's when we first started, right? And so a lot of that was right before COVID. We had a dedicated practice space, which was Night Moves venue, and we were playing there and practicing, and we were able to do that, and then kind of COVID shut it down.
Right before COVID, we had a show with the Ataris.
Yeah, we were supposed to play with the Ataris at the Country Bar, which is crazy. It's like, and it didn't happen, and so basically, I mean, COVID slowed us down by
2 years,
at least a year, and then we started, you know, playing, and like we're like, okay, let's like actually like finish this album eventually, right? And so we started recording it. Well, we recorded it, the instruments in
2022.
Yeah, so June 2022. Yeah. And then we finished the instrument or the vocals and all the other stuff by October. Yeah. So we're on a year now, and trust me, like we're very very impatient about it.
The album, pretty sure was done in May or June of this year.
No, before then, because remember we put out Way Down in April. And so we were.
That's why our plan was summer.
Yeah, we were basically. So basically, what ended up happening was we were ready to probably put it out. We were just again fielding who was interested in it, and we're like, you know, screw it. Like, we're done waiting. Let's like put this out. And so we started putting them out around shows, so that like we could, you know, put a song out and be like, hey, we have a show coming up,
People
and then
hear the song.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, cool. And then maybe they kind of come out to it, and then we did that. Until all of a sudden we got talking with Sunday Drive, and then that kind of slowed our process a little bit, and we were just like, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, because, you know, it was better for like the overall, you know, for the band, you know. He was like, let's re-release those two songs with a third single.
Because again, like his philosophy was the same. It's like the people that are going to hear this promo have never heard the two songs you've already put out, so you might as well just re-release it as a physical thing with maybe one song.
But like, also, we can't just put it out. It's going to be almost 2 months because of my timeline with the other bands.
Yeah.
So it's like, so we understand, but now we're so excited to just get the album out.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
I always love talking about this. I think it's a really interesting subject. You know, you're putting out an album now. The earliest you started working on it was like 2018.
Yeah.
Some of these songs have been sitting for many years, but I can only guess that your writing style has either changed or evolved a little bit. There's maybe different issues that you're writing about now that obviously wouldn't have made it to the album. And so, I don't know, is that like frustrating for you that you're kind of putting something out that people are going to hear now, but it's sort of a representation of how you felt?
It's like a time capsule of something how you felt 5 years ago.
I'd say to some degree it is, because again, like when you listen to it and maybe hear the 2 songs that we put out like way back in 2019 as opposed to like kind of what we're releasing now. But I think we did that for a reason. Like we kind of released more of like our current sound and our current like vibe as our singles as opposed to like some of the other ones, but we like those songs still. We think that they're still like representative of who we are, and so like they're still going to be on the album. But I think in terms of like direction, it makes sense to like put out like this is kind of like our sound and our direction is in these singles and being a little bit more on like the emo side as opposed to like more of the 90s side. But again, it's like having a taste of it, not being like totally absorbed in it.
I always look forward to like, even with myself when I hear an album, the songs that weren't picked as singles.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times those are like my favorite songs.
Yeah, all the deep cuts, exactly.
Yeah.
And so like we left we left a handful of those. Like I mean there's
5,
at least 3 that we play regularly in our set that like we haven't put out, I think. And so it's cool to like, for again like a new user's first perspective on it, is to kind of hear some of the songs and be like, oh, I haven't heard this one yet. It's just like, well, we've been playing it, but you just haven't seen us live yet. It's all right.
And obviously, you know, the listener's going to have a much different relationship with the songs that you guys do, you know, because you've been with them for so long. Are you worried that maybe they're going to see them in a different way?
People ask, like, when they hear the song, sometimes they're wondering what we're trying to say, I guess.
Sure.
But, like, I've said this time and time again, that I'm always trying to write a song that will take the listener to whatever they're feeling and make it their own for them. So, like, I want to write songs, like, obviously I'll have what I was feeling and what my subject matter is, but when someone hears it, I want it to relate regardless.
Right.
And I try to do that in every song I write. And I feel like we have.
Is there ever like a struggle of making it too vague? Like you're worried about going too far in that direction? Is that ever a challenge?
I don't think with this band.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's like other bands, where it's like you can be like almost too personal, right? And gets, you know, like there's a lot of bands like that now where like you see people like sing along to these lyrics and you're like, you've never been on that street in your life, you've never you've never experienced this, but it just like, I don't know, the melody's so catchy that they're just like, I feel what you're saying, like I don't really care. But I get where you're coming from in terms of like, but I think like really it's like kind of being intentionally vague. It's like we want it to be like open-ended in terms of like, you know, while it may not be like directly relatable, you can almost feel like, okay, I have experienced this emotion before, you know.
Okay. I think that was it for the album, but I wanted to talk about the scene here in Pensacola. If you guys don't mind. I mean, you guys have been a part of it for years. Assuming you've been out and sort of experienced other local scenes, what do you think makes Pensacola special? What do you think sets it apart?
The Handlebar. Super special.
Yeah, it's like there's a home base, and it was just missing for a little bit. I think that there was Sluggos, which was kind of a little bit before we started doing stuff at Handlebar, and you know, there's a nice chalkboard calendar of like what to expect coming up, and you just kind of know like, hey, well, on Friday I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna see X here, I'm gonna, you know, expect to pay blank to see this show, and I'm gonna do it with my friends, and that's just kind of how we go out and do things. And I think a lot of scenes miss that to some degree. I think a lot of them don't have the ability to, you know, before Handlebar and like before it reopened and everything, I mean, we were just doing it wherever. Like, and when it happened, it was so great. Like, I mean, we'd do it at a random spot and everyone would come and be like, this is awesome. But then you just never knew when that was going to happen again. Right. And then all of a sudden you're like, people start having babies, people start getting new jobs, and like just kind of, dropping out a little bit to the point where you're just like, you don't really have a choice but to just kind of push through it. But now that we have this, it's like, now you have kind of like your friends that you see, but then now the friends that you've made throughout it all, which has been a nice blessing to the area to have this again. Right.
And it reopened fairly recently, right? Like,
mm-hmm. It opened in 2022, August, so a little bit over a year, yeah. Wow. So, but yeah, I mean, there again, COVID was one of those things where we just didn't have any options but to just kind of wait it out. And then there were a couple places that were like, yeah, we can do shows because it's open air, and it was like great. And then you do it there, and it's just like, well, you can't really like book metal stuff there, you can't really book punk stuff there because it's like this pretty like grassy scenery with picnic tables in the middle of it. It's like, I mean, that works for like, acoustic or rock bands, but like not for that. And so it's like we still need it at home, and so it's good to be able to have something like this where it feels good at 50 and it feels good at 200. You don't necessarily have to be like totally jammed out for this to feel like the right type of vibe in here. So,
and like no matter what city you're from, like you need a Handlebar, because there's like, if you don't know anyone, let's say at like Vinyl, or you don't know someone's at the Civic Center, which I don't know many local bands just playing shows at the Civic Center, but you can come to a place like this and like learn how to play a show, get your feet wet, and it's really accepting. And for a while it was like really missed. I just think that's a crucial part of any scene.
Yeah, like
you need somewhere where you can learn how to like branch out, I guess.
If, like he said, there's like the first step of like going to a new city. It's like knowing where to go, right? And so like Birmingham has Firehouse, and Tallahassee has the Bark, and you can go to those places and know that like that's your hub. But like if you ask someone, it's like, well, where do you play in Destin? They're like, well, you like Club LA. It's like, oh, so you're gonna draw 800 people there. So it's like you're clearly not gonna do that. So then, as a result, you will never play Destin. And so there's certain places like that where if you don't have like kind of that, I don't know, call it DIY type place to grassroots type place to go, you don't really have this scene behind you. You just have shows.
Yeah. So I see you guys play here probably every other month, maybe.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Probably.
You just kind of like slide yourself onto a bill if there's room.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, we as the person that books here and runs here, like it feels weird like playing here. So like I don't really do it very often, but for this band, like we both play with Starland too. For those bands, like I'll do it because I'm like I like it and I want to like be able to like be part of it too, even if it's feels like a little strange. But we're doing like a record release in late December, and then
December 22.
Yeah.
Either.
So, and then I'm not really sure after that, but just kind of being able to kind of pick and choose our spots a little bit. Our drummer Mac doesn't live here, but then luckily we have Mike who lives here also, that's just down and likes playing with us too. And so we're stoked to have him, and it helps us to be able to play shows and to have something to look forward to, so that we can kind of continue like writing and playing together and everything.
So possibly the last question here, what do you see in the near future for the band, sort of beyond the release of the album, beyond the release show?
We were talking about trying to do like a Texas weekend or anything like that. Just like weekend tours, I think are perfect for us. Stuff that like we can go do to get some exposure, play to different markets. We were talking about maybe doing like a like another like EP type thing after this to kind of record it.
Doing it like acoustic.
Yeah, like that band.
Switch it up.
Yeah, I mean it's just like kind of two opposite ends of the spectrum, but very similar. But like Counting Crows and then like Mom Jeans, like both bands like have like a vibe like that where they're like, oh, this album's like totally like mostly acoustic, and now Mom Jeans just kind of put one out too, and it just kind of got me like excited about that idea to do that, and just to do something that's like a little bit more stripped down that like we can throw in our set and maybe make it a more rock version whenever we play live. Sure. Or even the alternative would be like, hey, Front Bottoms are playing Pensacola, let's play with them, but let's play more of like the acoustic side and strip it down some. So like being able to be flexible and kind of, you know, pick and choose our spots. I mean, we have songs where it's like, you know, we could pick this lineup and like play like largely pop punk bands or whatever if we wanted to, and like we could do this one and we could play with like the dad rock bands or like whatever. So being able to be flexible with it, I think helps keep it fresh.
Yeah, sweet. And then is there anything else that you want people to know kind of going into the album release?
I don't know, I'm just excited about the album release. We're putting the lineup together right now.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, it'll be Christmas weekend, which is always pretty busy if you're at a bar, you know.
Yeah,
cool.
Last year we did one here, a Christmas type show, and it was fucking freezing. Like it was like the coldest day in Pensacola history probably. It wasn't, but like it was like straight up ice cold. Like I had to break out the down jacket. I'm like, wow. It is. Shit. Were you here yet? Probably not.
I got here in March.
In March, so it was like
my first day here. It was below freezing, and I was shocked. I was like, "This isn't."
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was colder than that somehow. Okay. I don't even know like
I'm
what.
I'm happy for like how warm it's been.
Yeah, and
we've gotten an Indian summer.
Yeah, the thing with that show is just like it was just one of those shows where like everyone's in town for the holidays, and so it's just real good energy and vibes, you know, kind of look out in the crowd and you're like, I cannot believe you're here right now. Like I haven't seen you in like forever. And so it's just cool to do that. And so like we want to do that again. And this time do some like fun gimmicky Christmas things, some drinks or some, you know, outfits or whatever it may be. And just to have it like a fun, you know, memorable day that's like tied in with just like us playing like the album finally. And so excited about that and just excited about the support we've gotten on that, like the songs we've released so far, you know, just kind of looking around, like it's good to be noticed like outside of what Pensacola is. It's like, you know, we expect that people around here will listen to us, and if anything, I mean, we kind of notice that people are listening to us outside of here, which is even cooler, you know. It's like I don't really expect my friends to listen to it on their daily drive or whatever, but it's cool to know that other people are doing that, and I appreciate that very much. Mean more. Yeah, it does. I would say it's like it's not forced. You're just doing it because you like it, and so
cool. I'm excited for people to hear it just because I'm a firm believer in music being cyclical, and anything that's like not cool right now will be cool in 3 to 5 years. And I feel like I've always done a project where I was maybe a little early or a little late, one or the other. It's like the timing was never right. And I feel like Y2K stuff's really big right now. I feel like maybe we can bite on some of that and be fun, you know, because I love music like this. And I just like love playing with my friends. And if we can get the right exposure, I'm not saying like, let's go trend on TikTok, but like nowadays you have to.
Exactly.
You know, it's like,
kind of do have to.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
It's really wild.
Say the things you want to say, but don't forget the role I used to play. When you feel defeated, like your heart's been cheated, just think about me like before.
If you couldn't tell by listening to that entire interview, we had a great chat. I was thrilled to do that one in person as opposed to virtually. I apologize for all the background noise. I plan on upgrading my field setup soon, but support Glazed Eyes by streaming their music and maybe heading over to Sunday Drive Records to pick yourself up a physical copy of their debut album coming out this Friday. If you're local to Pensacola or plan on being in town late December, catch their record release show at the Handlebar on December 22nd. These guys are awesome. That's it from me. Take it away.